Welcome back, MTG Joe here, and we are wrapping up our budget build series for Mono Black Devotion. So basically this series, if this is the first video you're catching, we basically take a deck archetype, in this case Mono Black Devotion, and build three variants of it. A budget one, a mid-budget, and a non-budget. So the budget's about 10 rares mythic wildcards, then we go to about 20 rare mythic wildcards, and then we have what I'd call a fully tuned version. Because this is still early in Theros Standard, there's not really a bunch of deck lists where, for example, say if we had an MCQ, I would build towards those MCQ decks. So this is my build of Mono Black Devotion. It's what I've been playing on the rank ladder. I'm a couple wins away from Mythic with it, and I've been tuning this since this streamer early access event, and I've really been enjoying it. So this is the non-budget version of the deck. So basically, the deck itself is built around Grey Merchant of Asphodel, so Gary as he's nicknamed. Basically, when it enters the battlefield, you check your devotion, which is the number of black symbols in a casting cost, and your opponent loses that much life and you gain that much life. So with this deck here, we've had like the shell built around like Ayara, Murderous Rider, Midnight Reaper in the budget version. We added Erebos and Knight of Ebon Legion in the mid-budget. And now for this version here, what we've done is I've removed the what are they called? The 2-mana adventure guy that brings it back. Order of Midnight. I found more often than not I wasn't really using its ability. I added in a couple of Erebos' Intervention. So this is another card that can either target your opponent's graveyard, or it's a way to deal with enchantment gods or just larger creatures. So more removal in the main board. So target creature gets -X/-X till end of turn, and you gain X life. So it's a nice spell like that. And then what we're doing is we're adding in a couple Rankles, Master of Pranks. So Rankle here, I prefer it to the Demon, Nightmare Shepherd or whatever it's called. It's more proactive. It's a flyer that has haste, so it can come down and threaten your opponent the turn you cast it. And in a lot of games, all its effects have been relevant. The discard, the card draw and life gain, and the sacrifice. We have some smaller creatures we don't mind sacrificing. I've used it against, say, like mono white to turn off devotion. So I prefer this card here. Also, the turn it comes down, you can attack and draw a card, which is 4 damage, which puts a counter on Knight of Ebon Legion. So I've liked Rankle in this case. I may give a shot with the Shepherd just to demo it. I know some people have played it. I just prefer Rankle. And then the other card we're adding into the main board is Bolas' Citadel. So this is a card that if it does stick for a turn or two, you pretty much win the game. Basically, 6 mana artifact. You can play the top card of your library, but instead of paying mana for it, you can pay life equal to its CMC. You can also pay lands off the top. So basically, you can play Grey Merchant, and you lose 5 life, but then you gain 5 life and drain them. And then it's the upside of everything else in the deck. And then we just added a 4th castle. I got rid of the Witch's Oven, or Witch's Cabin, whatever the land is called. That puts it back on top. It lost me a couple games just with it not coming into play untapped. So I kind of cut that just through some more gameplay. I'm still deciding if I want to go to 25 lands. I've had a couple games of Mana Screwed, followed by a couple games of Flooding. So I want to play a larger population of games to know if I need to make one additional cut. Some of the rare and mythic wildcards are going to the sideboard as well here. So I have 3 Agonizing Remorse, basically Thoughtseize with Exile. Noxious Grasp will deal with white or green spells. An Elderspell versus the Planeswalker heavy decks. We're still seeing some Fires decks. We're still seeing some like Jeskai Friends decks. Underworld Dreams was a card that impressed me quite a bit in the mid-budget version. It is coming in against control. It attacks them on a different axis, and it adds 3 devotion as well. That's a little bit harder to get off the battlefield than just creatures. So usually I'll take, like on heavy board wipe decks, I'll get rid of Ayara and I'll put in Underworld Dreams. A couple Drag to the Underworld is more targeted removal. A couple Leyline of the Void to deal with the graveyard decks that also fills our devotion. And a couple Deathless Knight versus the more grindy matchups. So overall this deck's not too costly. I think it's 29 rares and mythics combined. But for a very competitive deck, like I'm Diamond Tier 2, we are basically 8 wins for mythic. So let's play it out. We're going to play some traditional standard ranked here and take it for a spin. There's been a little bit of network issues, so we're going to see how it goes as we play through these matches. I kept getting disconnected last night, which was really annoying. So once we finish this game, we're going to have the write-up for all 3 decks on AetherHub, so you can check it out in detail there. If you're catching this on YouTube and you enjoy the content, you'd like to see more, feel free to drop a comment, like, or subscribe. All are free and easy ways to help out the channel. And then if you are catching this on Twitch or you want to know when we go live on Twitch, easiest way is to drop a follow. Another free and easy way to help out the channel. Enough pandering, let's play some games. So I kept this hand here. It's not, like, the curve isn't the best, but... Okay, so this is Grixis. So if we could get Citadel down, they're going to Thought Erasure us here. They take the Ayara. That's interesting. That is actually a pretty decent draw. This plays around removal and lets us start draining. Okay, so they just have a second Thought Erasure. Getting this down would have been good in this matchup. So not sure if this is just Grixis mid-range, Grixis control, Grixis fires. There's been a couple variants going around. I guess the other line's not the worst. So we're probably just set up to draw this turn. We would take 3 damage. Okay, well, there goes Gary. The triple Thought Erasure draw. Angrath's Rampage. So it could be a little bit more control oriented. At least the Cat Oven combo can just put some pressure on them. Another line's not the best. Hey, Quantum. Well, you know, when I play Thought Erasure, I usually draw them once the opponent's hellbent, but the deck's pretty resilient. We do draw a lot of cards. I would have really liked to have this Bolas' Citadel against Grixis. Second Cat also plays pretty nice. They may have Bedevil for the Oven, which would be a little problematic. Second Oven's actually really nice insurance. So we might just get there with double Oven draw. Sweet. So triple Thought Erasure did nothing. We saw some removal there. Underworld Dreams comes in. It's a hard way for them to deal with. Deathless Knight is also a good card in this matchup. Just they'll have lots of removal, so it's a way to come back. Ayara probably can come out in this matchup. It's more likely to die. Night Oven's fine. Midnight Reaper's fine. They're probably playing Planeswalkers, so I want to have the big boy. Erebos' Intervention could come out. Maybe both of them. Do I want the Citadel? Citadel, if it resolves, is great. I might just want the discard. So let's go down Erebos' Intervention, down a Citadel, and down a Tymaret. This has haste, this has haste. Erebos is great. Murderous Rider is just a useful card. I think we run it like this. Just pivot into more of a grindy matchup. Quantum, can you let me know if you're seeing any like frame rate drops on like the viewer end? We go. I'm gonna keep. This is a heavy discard deck, so I don't particularly want to go down cards. Okay, so they have Cage, so that's actually a very good draw. So since they have Cage, we might want to consider removing the cat. Okay, they 1-for-1 here. It's actually a pretty decent draw. Okay, thanks. I'm getting a note. We're getting a couple of frame rate drops. Just okay. Opponent's 1-for-1ing us here. So creature cards and graveyards can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells, but this just returns to our hand. So opponent's 1-for-1 sweepered against us. They'll probably take Grey Merchant. Because they've seen this Murderous Rider, I'm just going to play it out. I want to close out this game as quick as possible. I'm going to hold the cat. The cat can bring back Deathless Knight if they kill it. For a Grixis deck, the opponent's also got a lot of basics. Okay, so they probably take Murderous Rider. And then they go Ashiok. I'm going to take Ashiok out just because they can pair both a removal spell. They can pair a removal spell with exiling Deathless Knight. That's kind of annoying. So they brought in a lot of exile. Rankle's great. And we got Erebos. I think we're just going to threaten them here. Just threaten lethal multiple ways. Yeah, that's actually true. The 5 basic, perfect mana base for Grixis. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Took him out. Up to Diamond ranked 1, 6 wins from Mythic. Get a core set 20 pack. Alright, I'm just going to give Arena a quick reset. I just don't want to get servered out. Release weekend is always a little pressing on the servers. Let's run it back for another one. It's like a huge snowstorm here today. It's just starting. This is a keep. So I'm going to lead on Knight. It's a better first drop. Okay, so this is likely some sort of Jeskai deck. Super Friends or such. So I'm going to lead on Cat. And play out like this. Really want to land this turn. One thing is they can't cast Clarion. And this Teferi bounce isn't really that worthwhile. That's fine. If we can attack the Teferi down. The Jeskai matchup's a little tough. Perfect. So that gives us Midnight Reaper. Also gives us a Ayara. I'm going to lead with Ayara here. It turns on the card draw. Okay, so they can Teferi here. Similar play, bounce. Just gonna let this happen. The double beacon's actually quite annoying. It's just kind of insulated their life total. So we'll take it out here. We're more likely to get Clarion, so I think we just want to lead like this. If they Clarion this turn, I get the card draw. And they're not that much further ahead. There's a shock. Would like to see like a Murderous Rider this turn. They can't Time Wipe. They could Solar Blaze, but it doesn't kill Knight of Ebon Legion. And the Royal Scions. This could be a loot. So they get rid of their second white source. They did shock, so they might have a stomp. So I'm going to take the card draw here. They could have the stomp on like Midnight Reaper, which is probably the case. Yeah, that's fine. We get 2 card draws out of it. Okay, so Citadel will be nice in a future turn. So here's not bad. I can attack both into Scion. Pump here. And then just play this out. Clarion still wipes our board here. Yeah, this looks like Clarion. We get 2 food tokens this way. So before they die, we get that bonus. So our life total is pretty high. If we can Citadel this turn, we can probably get a good card advantage unless our deck's stacked with lands on top. Okay, so that does block us this turn. Was hoping for a little bit better this turn. So because we have the extra food, I'm going to do this because it puts a counter on both the knights because it's 4 damage coming through. You get 2 foods because Witch's Oven, if their toughness is 4 or greater, you get 2 instead of 1. So that turn, because Erebos' Devotion was allowing for 4 devotion, for 4 toughness. It let us get the extra food. So this lets us be more proactive and have the familiar die without having to keep oven up. This gives it first strike as well, right? First strike and trample. This could be a board wipe. This is a board wipe. We suck up some damage. And it also doesn't give him the value. Yeah, you're so used to probably just the oven and cat. This way, if they have time wipe, they don't get the benefit of bouncing the Bone Crusher Giant to hand. And regardless, we're left, if they don't have time wipe, with 2 bodies. Actually, we should have just not... Well, the risk there is if they do have the time... So if they don't have the time wipe, it's worse here. But if they didn't, then we would have just won with Grey Merchant that next turn. Okay, so overall, kind of lackluster on the opponent's part. So I'm going to get the Scions off the board. It's filtering their draw. And it could give it trample, which I don't particularly want. Really just need to hit this line. We hit this line and we're citadeling away. If they attack this turn, I'm going to oven. Have this come back and then block. And this is where the extra food comes in handy. It lets us be proactive with our oven. So they have Ral. The life gain's kind of relevant here, but they only have 1 instant or sorcery in their graveyard. I think the life gain's more useful at this point. I doubt they're playing Shaw. That's pretty aggressive. Could be a stomp. Cool. Let's play out Citadel here. The post-combat feels kind of bad. Would have had them dead because there's 3 draw a card and it would have allowed us to get this land off the top. That's fine. If you make enough food tokens as well, you can sacrifice it with Bolas' Citadel to deal 10 damage. This could be Teferi. Okay, so Teferi buys them a turn. They could bounce the Citadel. Ral's ultimate deals 4 damage and draws 2 cards. Interesting. They bin that. They play out Sarkin. Okay, so they're closing out the game. We need a good flip off this Bolas' Citadel. That also gets rid of the, if we draw another Rankle. So I'm not playing the land out, in case we have land on top. This is how we lose. Yeah, Citadel. We missed a couple land drops and it looks like we're clumping a bit. We may get one more shot at it because they 16 us, but it's a little worse now because we're not going to have as much life to work with. Yeah, and they borrow it. So that takes another play, because then we weren't able to Grey Merchant. So they hit us for 16. Well, nothing we can do here. Take our cat, get some life. This one's annoying. These beacons have pulled a lot of weight this match. Instant speed Clarion. Blast Zone. Grey Merchant. Dovin's Veto. Okay. That one was rough. We should have had that. Okay, so obviously Elderspell in here, Agonizing Remorse. The Deathless Knights are good, and so are the Underworld Dreams. Drag to the Underworld, I don't think we want. Do we want the Grasps? They really only deal to Fairy. Coming out of the deck, Ayara doesn't do much in this matchup, neither does Tymaret. We want to become more of a kind of control-y deck. Like the early aggressive plays. Midnight Reaper's fine, Erebos is fine, Grey Merchant is fine. The Erebos' Intervention isn't going to do much in this matchup. Probably just shave a Rankle. Rankle's a 4-mana play that gets hit by Clarion. Play it out like that. And honestly, that game we lost, but I don't think it's that much of a comment on the deck. Like, we got a Citadel out, and when you have Citadel, you probably should win. Just drawing lands was really where it came down to. And this looks like it's more of a control deck than it is a fires deck. So it's notable to know that we're expecting counter spells. I'm going to get rid of the Clarion here, just because it's an immediate answer. So this is interesting, because they can name Knight or they can name Oven. We'll see what they name here. I'm going to hold this Murderous Rider. Naturally draw the cat. Just pump in as much damage. I want to save this for Sarkin. Fairy's annoying. So I'm just playing this out. We're gonna get Clarion here, like, most certainly.
Don't worry, I got this.
I think it'd bode pretty well if we can see. Okay, so Narset means no, we're not getting Clarion this turn. But they have refilled our hand and we don't have a castle, and we've literally just drawn lands. This way, if they want to use Narset, she dies. When they play the Sarkin decks, you don't want Narset hanging around, and they got Ral. This was a bad draw. They just do Knight of Ebon Legion? Okay. Oh, come on. Like, at least give me a castle. I can do stuff with that. So opponent missed their fifth line drop. We've got nothing but lands. Okay, so at least we got castle there. Come on. Okay, Erebos is pretty sweet. I forget if this can get vetoed. We still have the card draw, so if they wipe our board now, we can draw 2 cards at least. And Murderous Rider means it's enough devotion to turn on Erebos. Oh, we also have Underworld Dreams. so they veto there, that's fine. Oh, they brought in Disenchant. That does let them use their mana. That was a pretty terrible draw. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they do get a window here. Wasn't expecting the veto and disenchant. We would have played this out had we, and part of the reason I'm doing this is just to keep my hand empty for castle. Okay, so there's Ral here. They can down tick. Let's see what we draw. Obviously another land. Okay, Rankle wins it for us. So does Gary. Win in style. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so they brought in a number of spyglasses. So maybe we do want Rankle. They brought Disenchant as well, so maybe we want an Ayara. Shave down 2 ovens. Do I want Tymaret? Can gain us some life. But like for flyers it doesn't do much. I think we just run it back. Hope they don't have the veto or disenchant. Okay, keep this hand. Again, no castle, but I like it a little bit better because we have Reaper. Elderspell's nice for later in the game. So we're shaping up okay so far. If they want a spyglass and oven, that's fine. I don't like seeing that.
I know my responsibility. Trust me, I have a plan.
I can go Midnight Reaper here. It's better use of our mana. And if they have a board wipe or a stomp or something, we get that value. Kefnet. Actually, that was actually a good draw. So this is just more Jeskai pure control. Alright, we got Cat Oven, which is nice because it'll guarantee at least a couple draws per turn, so hopefully draws through the mid game. they're kind of hampered. So, okay, this is actually good too. They shuffle away the Kefnet. They Sark in here and minus. It's not that good because we just Murderous Rider the token and attack Sarkin. I want to keep this if we can hit 2 Planeswalkers. Maybe I want Liliana. That could be something I put in the sideboard. Even Ugin, maybe. Okay, Citadel is what I want to see. Let's just get some line drops now. Erebos is awesome. I'm going to prioritize getting this down right now. I really want to just hit my line drops.
Well, let's see what the wind blows in.
Opponent's got a full grip of cards, so if we're winning the long game. So I'm doing this now because they can name Spyglass, and when it enters I lose priority. Okay, so we got a Grey Merchant and we got a Deathless Knight, which is actually very good. So they probably turn off Oven. We really need lands. That would be great. Okay, so they do name the Oven. So remember with Spyglass, once it resolves, they have priority, so you can't respond to them naming. So you want to activate this beforehand. Devout Decree. Sure. Okay, so we hit our land. That works out nice. Ah, sweet. Erebos is online too. So the question here is, do we want to commit more? They're more likely than not to have a board wipe. So I think we let them... deal with this board as it is. The one negative is if they have Devout Decree, they can deal with Erebos right now. This exiles a creature. It's a creature right now, so we don't have the Oven to turn off Devotion. Chandra can sweep here. Underworld Dreams is cool. And then Night. Okay, so we hit the land. I think I want to set up turn here. This puts pressure on them as well. So we're attacking them from a lot of different angles, which I like with this deck. They have to deal with the board. They have to deal with Underworld Dreams, and we have Citadel. If they don't do any of that, then I just Grey Merchant them for a bunch. That puts our life total a lot higher, so then I could following turn Citadel. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, Cat's cool. Sure, why not? We're just drawing a bunch of cards against them. That puts it back in our hand. So I can do this turn. But I think I'm just going to drain him for a bunch. So then that way next turn I can Citadel. We had lethal on them otherwise, but I think we still pretty much have lethal. They got to deal with a hasty death. Yeah, nice. Redemption from game 1. 4 wins for Mythic. Okay, so I pretty much demoed the deck. I'm going to wrap this one up. And then we'll go from there. I want to finish up the article. So that should be up on Aether Hub later today. The video in its entirety, if you want to catch either of the budget variations, the full budget, the mid-budget, or this non-budget, everything will be up on YouTube. So we already have budget and mid-budget up on YouTube, so you can check those out. I'll do the full article, it'll be up on Aether Hub, we'll cross-post it on Reddit. And if you have any questions, any comments, do let me know in the YouTube comments. I'm really enjoying this deck. This is very consistent, a lot of different ways of attack, a lot of synergies. I do need to figure out the control matchup a bit more, and I think I may want to go up a couple more. Might want to go full play set of Agonizing Remorse and may go up another Underworld Dreams. I might cut the Leyline down, play it that way there, or even just cutting the Noxious Grasp down to 2 and do a split. There's a couple different angles of attack, but we can keep working on the sideboard as we get more idea of the meta. Really like the main board right now. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Gonna wrap this one up. Have a great one. Happy pre-release to those going. Good luck. Happy pulls. And we'll catch you probably either later today with a couple brews or tomorrow as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.